All right, so we're getting ready to get going tonight for Bible study. Um, so tomorrow we're going to be going live. Shout out to the 51 subscribers that have subscribed in this short amount of time, man. You guys are truly a blessing. And may God bless you with the desire to follow him, to understand his word, and to seek him so that you can get closer to him. I have a little cough drop in my mouth. So tonight we are starting off on chapter 37, guys. We're in the book of Jasher still, and yesterday was a real interesting one, right? Go ahead, guys. Give me the recap of what you remember from yesterday.
That we were talking about how the
Hold on,
lights were mixing each other for some reason.
Yes, they were mixing themselves with animals and beasts.
And how the
How one of them had
the
up
man
to
and top of a bear took a man's donkey.
Well, okay, so there was a storm, and there was a man that was out there, not Jezebel's husband, but right, in chapter 36. And he was out there with 120 of his donkeys. There was a massive storm. They came and set overhead. And when that happened, all these terrible creatures came from out of the wilderness, and they described them. They said that the bottom half of their bodies was the bottom half of men, and the top half was of bears and different animals. And these were some of the experiments and different things and some of the terrible things from days of old, the Greek myths, the Minotaurs, all those things. Those things actually existed. They're real. Yes, they are in the book of Jasher. Yeah.
I thought there was 120 of those monsters.
120 of the monsters, and they came and they jumped on the donkeys and they ran off. One of them ran up to the man because he had a tail that went from between his shoulder blades down to the ground and smote him with his tail, jumped on the donkey and rode off. And they tried to chase him down, but they ended up coming back and they never went to that area again because they were greatly afraid. Yeah.
Does smoke mean kill?
No, it means
Hit. It depends on the context. Sometimes smoke means hit, slap, strike. It's just strike a person, basically.
We also
right?
learned that Esau's people intermingled with the Horites.
Esau and Edom intermingled with the Amorites, the Horites, the Jebusites, the Hittites. All of those ites, those were the ones that were intermingling and changing their DNA and laying with animals and all these types of things that were, well, the problem is that some of the Israelites started to mix in with them too down the line. And this is why it's so important for us to know who is who. This thing is not a game, right? It's not a game. It's not all for fun. It's serious. And there's serious things that's going on. And that's why God does have a people. Yes, there are those that are engrafted, but he still has his people, right? Let's jump into 37. I'm not sure how we're going to go. We are on verse number 1, and there's 50 verses within this chapter. So we're going to just slightly dive into chapter 37. Tomorrow we are set and ready to rock and roll to go live. And just really hit it as hard as we can. And we're going to continue to motivate and move throughout this month. And I think it's going to be a great thing. All right, so let's jump on it. So verse 1. And in the 150th year in the life of Jacob, that is the 9th year of Jacob's dwelling with his children in the land of Canaan, he came from Pada Aram. So 9 years after arriving from going up the road to meet Esau and coming and settling in before the battle of Shechem, right? For 9 years, he's been in this area, okay? And in those days, Jacob journeyed with his children from Hebron, and they went and they returned to the city of Shechem. So now, at this point in time, all the people that used to live there, well, of course, they're dead. The sons of Levi and Simeon wiped them out, right? They wiped them out. They took everything from them. There was almost a battle with the other 7 kings, but Jacob and Isaac prayed over the sons of Jacob with the servants. And even though the sons of Jacob were ready to get it in, the Lord put great fear into the hearts of the 7 kings in the land of Canaan. And they ended up evacuating and leaving, right? Went back to their lands. Well, this is now a set apart time after that. And so now they're going back and they're going to live in this area of Shechem, right? We also find out as we read down here, when they came across the border of Canaan into the land of gosh, I'm very long day. Into the land of Canaan, they bought a piece of land within the city of Shechem. Now, it's kind of, you got to understand that the wordplay is a little different because at first when we hear about it, we know that he comes in, that Jacob and his household come into the land and that there's a man named Shechem that's over a city, but they never told us that the name of the city was Shechem at that time. Now we are referring to the city as Shechem because that's how it refers to it. Of course, because he was the one that was over that city at the time, right? Okay. So verse number 2, and in those days, Jacob journeyed with his children from Hebron, and they went and returned to the city of Shechem, they and all belonging to them, and they dwelt there. For the children of Jacob obtained good and fat pasture land for their cattle in the city of Shechem, the city of Shechem having been rebuilt, and there were in it about 300 men and women. So they're explaining that the sons of Jacob had taken over a piece of land in the city of Shechem that was perfect for their animals, right? And that the city itself had been rebuilt by others and had been built back up into a city because they had totally wiped it out, right? All right. And Jacob and all of his children and all belonging to him dwelt in the part of the field which Jacob had bought from Hamor, the father of Shechem, when he came from Paddan Aram, before Simeon and Levi had smitten the city. And all those kings of the Canaanites and the Amorites that surrounded the city of Shechem heard that the sons of Jacob had come to Shechem and dwelt there. So the situation is that the sons of Jacob, they come back, they start living back in that area, and the cities that are around them, they get word that, hey man, the sons of Jacob are back, and they're sitting there and they're on edge. Because these are the same dudes that they were greatly afraid of sometime within the last 9 years, right? And so they're already uneasy because they're like, man, one, we know that we can't really contend with these dudes. And two, just like the last time, it's the kings that are uneasy with the sons of Jacob being there. So they're going to cause another issue with him. Remember that it's not Jacob going and cause an issue with them. It's the kings going and cause an issue with the sons of Jacob. All right. Mm-hmm. Verse 5. And they said, shall the sons of Jacob the Hebrew again come to the city and dwell therein? After that they have smitten its inhabitants and driven them out? Shall they now return and also drive out those that are dwelling in the city or slay them? So you can see that the kings, they're starting to trip. They're like, man, they're back. What's about to happen? Are they coming back in order to do what they did the last time again? And this time, will they stop with that city? Will they then ride upon us? Right? And all the kings of Canaan again assembled, and they came together to make war with Jacob and his sons. Now remember, it's always a different situation when people come to you to cause a problem versus when you go to cause a problem, right? In my experience, you don't want to necessarily be the one that's the aggressor. Well, no, I'm not going to put it like that. You don't want to be the one that's going to cause the issue, right? There may be times where people come to cause the issue with you, and you have to take over the whole entire situation and bring it to them. You understand? Okay. And Yashuv, king of Tapnach, sent also to all his neighboring kings, to Elon, king of Gaash, and Ihuriy, Hayuri, king of Shiloh, and to Poranthan, king of Chazar, and to Suzi, king of Sartan, and to Lavan, king of Beth Choran, and to Shavir, king of Othnama, saying, "Come up to me and assist me, and let us smite Jacob the Hebrew and his sons." Come up to me and assist me, and let us smite Jacob the Hebrew and his sons, and all belonging to him. For they are again come to Shechem to possess it and to slay its inhabitants as before. And all these kings assembled together and came with all their camps, a people exceedingly plentiful, like the sand upon the seashore, and they were all opposite to Tapnach. So here we go again with the same usual suspects. The king of Tapnach has now put out the word and brought all the other kings down to him. Are you asking a question?
Yes.
What's up?
Why'd you open the window?
I'll tell you when we're done with the video. The king of Tapnach has gathered all these other kings in the surrounding area and all of their men and their armies, and they're coming down in order to go to war against the sons of Jacob, right? Now, remember, the sons of Jacob have just moved back into the area. They're not looking for any issues or problems, right? They haven't done anything to anyone. They haven't moved back and took over anything that wasn't theirs. They're actually dwelling in the land that they paid for, that they cut a deal with the father of Shechem back in the day, right? So they're where they are supposed to be. You understand? And Yasuv, king of Tapnach, went forth with them with all his army, and he encamped with them opposite to Tapnach, without the city. And all these kings they divided into 7 divisions, being 7 camps against the sons of Jacob. And they sent a declaration to Jacob and his sons, saying, "Come you all forth to us, that we may have an interview together in the plain, and revenge the cause of the men of Shechem, who you slew in their city. And you will now again return to the city of Shechem and dwell therein and slay its inhabitants as before." So they're already accusing Jacob and his sons to be returning into that area to commence and do what they had done before. And they're blaming them as if originally it was their fault, like it was unmerited or it shouldn't have happened. When we all know that Shechem and his father are the ones that initiated all of the issues and problems from the beginning. And that this thing is not actually between Shechem and Jacob and his sons, but it's between the Most High, it was between the Most High and the inhabitants of the land. Yeah.
Do the kings know that?
What kings? Do the 7 kings know?
That the problem was started with Shechem?
No, because God didn't reveal this to them. Remember that the Most High revealed to us because remember, the Most High never revealed to even Simeon and Levi that he's the one that put the desire for them to destroy them in their heart, right? But he was doing it because he's driving them out of that land. Because way back from the days of Noah, when Noah split up the earth into the 3 parts and each son chose where he was going to go, the sons of Ham, one of the sons of Ham, Canaan, went to an area that was not for him. It was for Shem and for his people, which of course are Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and them and whatnot, right? Of course, there's more sons than that, but just so you understand exactly where we're at. So the land of Canaan is being occupied by a group of people that don't belong there and they're not supposed to be there. Now they're there, they're living there, they have history there, they have generations there, they have all those things. But the Most High is getting ready to uproot them and move them because they do not belong there. To everybody else, they believe they belong there. Similar to the situation today. There's people living in lands that they do not belong. And the Most High is uprooting them and moving them and going to cast them out, right? To the people on the ground, it looks unfair. It looks unjust. I can't believe this would happen. But we're not God. He makes his decisions. It's up to us to bow down and listen, right? All right. So now we're at verse 12. And the sons of Jacob heard this, and their anger was kindled exceedingly. So they sent messengers down to the sons of Jacob. They chilling, they doing their thing. What's up?
Did Abigail go to heaven?
Who?
Abigail.
Who's Abigail?
The person I learned in my class today.
I have no idea who you're talking about, man.
So when David went, I learned about her too. So when David went after Saul was trying to.
Does it have anything to do with what we're talking about right now?
No.
No. So focus in on what we're talking about right now. You can talk to me about your Bible class tomorrow, okay? Okay, cool. I think I know who you're talking about. I think she had the husband that wouldn't give David and his men anything, and so he died or something, and she became David's wife. We'll get to that tomorrow, okay? Let's try to stay focused and stay on task, all right? And the sons of Jacob heard this, and their anger was kindled exceedingly at the words of the kings of Canaan. And 10 of the sons of Jacob hastened and rose up. So at this point in time, you got to remember that there's only 11 sons of Jacob born in Dinah. The last one hasn't been born yet, Benjamin.
Benjamin was born.
Benjamin hasn't been born yet.
He was, because then they buried Deborah and then Rachel.
You're right. I'm sorry about that. That's right, because they already came back to Isaac, right? Okay. Sorry, your brother started talking to me about something totally different, and it threw me off. All right, so Benjamin is too young to go to war, though. So that's why it's only,
10.
how many did we say? 10 of the sons have rose up, right?
12. I mean 11.
No. 10 of the sons of Jacob hastened and rose up. So how many sons?
10.
10. This is how many have rose up right now at this point in time, right? Okay, cool. And these 10 are upset and they're angry because here they are dwelling in the land. They're not causing any issues or any problems. And these 7 kings have come together, put an army together, and they're coming down to do battle with them, right? Okay. And each of them girt on his weapons of war, and there were 102 of their servants with them equipped in battle array. Yes.
What does girt mean?
Put on. And all these men, the sons of Jacob with their servants, went towards these kings, and Jacob their father was with them, and they all stood upon the heap of Shechem. And Jacob prayed to Yahuwah for his sons, and he spread forth his hands to Yahuwah, and he said, O Elohim, you are El Shaddai. You are our Father. You did form us, and we are the works of your hands. Remember how I said Jacob always stuck to the correct formation of praying to the Most High? He would qualify what he was saying. He would exalt and uplift the Most High, and then he would remind the Most High of whatever he said that he would do. Then he would come behind it with what his request was. You understand? So he's praying, and he says, I pray you deliver my sons through your mercy from the hand of their enemies, who are this day coming to fight with them, and save them from their hand. For in your hand is power and might to save the few from the many. And give unto my sons, your servants, strength of heart and might to fight with their enemies, to subdue them, and make their enemies fall before them, and let not my sons and their servants die through the hands of the children of Canaan. Now, he's still praying, but let's stop right there for a second. What do you notice that's different about this prayer from the first time that they were going to go to war and they were praying?
He wasn't asking the Lord to make the other people scared.
So the first time when this all happened, right? Jacob and Isaac asked for the Lord to put the fear of his sons into the other camp, right? But this time he's praying for his sons to be victorious over the other kings, because this time they're going to fight. You understand? Okay. But if it seems good in your eyes to take away the lives of my sons and their servants, take them in your great mercy through the hands of your ministers, that they may not perish this day by the hands of the kings of the Amorites. So Jacob is saying that, Lord, I understand that you may have something great for my sons to do, and the day is going to come for you to take them. And if that day is today, then let it be today. But let it just not be by the hands of this army that's seeking to do wrong against my sons. You understand? And Jacob ceased praying to Yahuwah. And when Jacob ceased praying to Yahuwah, the earth shook from its place, and the sun darkened, and all these kings were terrified, and a great consternation seized them. And Yahuwah hearkened to the prayer of Jacob, and Yahuwah impressed the hearts of all the kings and their hosts with the terror and awe of the sons of Jacob. For Yahuwah caused them, when it says them, he caused the army that was coming against the sons of Jacob to hear the voice of chariots and the voice of mighty horses from the sons of Jacob, and the voice of a great army accompanying them. And these kings were seized with great terror at the sons of Jacob. And while they were standing in their quarters, behold, the sons of Jacob advanced upon them, and 112 men, and a great and tremendous shouting. And when the king saw the sons of Jacob advancing towards them, they were still more panic. They were still more panic struck, and they were inclined to retreat from before the sons of Jacob as at first, and not fight with them. But they did not retreat, meaning that they had the desire to retreat and get up out of there, but they didn't. They said to themselves, it would be a disgrace to us thus twice to retreat from before the Hebrews. And the sons of Jacob came near and advanced against all these kings and their armies. And they saw, and behold, it was a very mighty people, numerous as the sons of sand of the sea. And we're going to stop right there at verse 23. Because verse 24 and on, boy, it's about to go down. You understand? So we'll be at verse 24 tomorrow. We see that the sons of Jacob in peace came back to this land, right? That they had purchased. They're not anywhere they're not supposed to be. It's just that when they arrived back in the area that they had bought, the other kings in the cities around were looking down or heard that they were there, and they immediately begin to talk amongst themselves and one another and try to prepare themselves for what had happened the first time to happen to them. But notice, they didn't send any messengers to just talk to them. They sent messengers to tell them to basically get ready for war. They didn't try to make peace with them. They immediately tried to cause an issue and a problem and get ahead of them by having more people and being stronger than them, right? And then we also see that Jacob, once his trouble came down to his sons, the very first thing that he did was he went to the Most High, and he went to the Most High in prayer. It's just that this time when he prayed, his prayer was a little bit different. This time he was praying for victory over those that were coming down upon him, right? All right. So tomorrow we will continue our reading. We will continue to move forward. I think it was an excellent reading tonight. I know you guys are tired. So for everybody that joined in with us, thank you guys so much, man. God bless you. May He have mercy on you. May He uplift you. May He enrich your understanding, your faith and belief. May He point you towards a pastor or a preacher that can shepherd you and bring you unto Him. May you accept the Holy Spirit so that you can have greater understanding in what it is for you to do. And may we be able to fellowship again. In Jesus' name, amen.